Hello fellow Helldivers, Thornton here, and I'm pretty sure I may have just cracked my frame. That being said, today we're going to be talking about new Illuminate satellites coming to the game, and so much more along with their reinforcements. But without further ado, let's get into today's topic.
So fellow Helldivers, we've got some stuff to talk about, and the first thing is, yes, there is that new major order that Arrowhead left us with while they went on vacation. How very nice of them. Basically, we got to kill a ton of enemies, Shriekers, Impalers, Factory Shredders, and Flesh Mobs, and of course, the thing that's probably going to curse our entire major order, which is the Leviathans. However, there is one good thing. If you haven't noticed, SAM sites are actually now back in the game, and we can use them to help us take down the Leviathans. They do actually have limited ammo now, so something you're going to want to keep in mind. Now, in speaking of those Leviathans in the Illuminate, there is some cool new leaks and data mine stuff that was recently shared. Truth Harbinger posted that there was an old remade leak. The model, however, was updated in the game files, and it's the Super Earth Tower. There's one that says Democracy and Equality, you might remember from a prior video way back, and the Mon Solar Tower right here, which means we're probably actually going to be going back to Super Earth at some point in the near future. He said it could be tied to the cargo truck mission or its own. If you don't know the cargo truck, here's some gameplay that you can see in the background. It's supposedly going to be the next vehicle, probably mission related. The reason why it's likely related is he said large tower has a garage door at the bottom. Highly likely this is the destination for the lead cargo truck mission. Also, there's an extraction pad off to the side. So overall, pretty cool. It could also be a SEAF military base or forward operating base. I'm happy to see this come to the game. It might not end up being something specifically for Super Earth, but it could also be at the same time. Now, along with that, there was new Illuminate, new outpost prefab shared by Harbinger again. And he let us know that it's leaked Illuminate prop formations tied to the up-and-coming satellite missions, and they bear a fearsomely striking resemblance to the Illuminate cult structures previously leaked. These come from asunder the images at least. Now, this first image, can't really tell anything from it. I guess it's just kind of like a tower thing there. Then there's the second one where it just shows an enemy, so it's very early playtest, and then some structures with Illuminate coverings around it, and what appears to be kind of a statue in the back. Could be something to tie with the monolith, but we don't know. There's a couple more images, but it doesn't give us a whole lot of detail, just basic structure of how it's going to work. There's also what appears to be a holder for a warp gate right here, or at least that's in my opinion what it kind of looks like. Harbinger points out that they also seem to be ruins, but that's me theorizing on their appearance, and I kind of actually agree with that. But that being said, since they're going to be using these satellites to call in the greater Illuminate force, let's look at some of the leaked enemy types that we know are coming that were recently put in with a upcoming patch, and why we might not need to worry about the Leviathans very much longer, because they have a ton more forces coming in that are going to give us a headache. What he did show us was a bunch of different images on his Discord. He also put them up on his Twitter, but they were shortly taken down afterwards, and it goes ahead and shows us an Illuminate Magus Adept cultist and Zealot cultist that he was able to render out in the game files. In addition to that, there was even more, and those are the Outcast cultist, the Xenobite cultist, and the, of course, Warp Gate, which was actually leaked by developers not too long ago, where they actually hosted an AMA. So we've known about the Warp Gate. A couple of those we've never even actually heard of before, so it looks like they either got renamed or changed around a bit, but those should be the next Illuminate enemy types coming into the game. And we do have a fair bit of knowledge about what actually they are all going to be able to do and how they will impact the gameplay. So we're going to go over exactly what these units are and the additional ones that will be coming in the near future. So let's get into it. And the first one we're going to go over is the Observer, which is an Illuminate scout unit, a small levitating robot eye squid thing. In Helldivers 1, it was cloaked at all times, so you're not going to be seeing this when you're running around on the map, unless it was spotted directly by players, at which point it sounded an alarm that caused other Illuminate units to teleport in before recloaking itself and running away. Iron Sights was actually able to show us what this would look like in game, and as you can see here, it is a pretty large unit and it moves around through the air, floating around. He said he doesn't have too much info about this little guy, but he thought it was worth posting. It's likely part of the cultist units, but he's not sure. It cannot aim his beam properly. Don't worry, I have the same issue when I go to the bathroom sometimes. So it randomly sways around in your general direction. He patrols around the map, and we get a couple of images here. In the first one, it's pretty cool. He's got a giant beam, the one that he can't apparently aim. In the second image, you can see the definite squid appearance. It actually probably looks more like a squid than I think almost any other unit. And number 3, it isn't as well textured, but we can kind of see the shadow slash darkened version of it. And in number 4, we see a Helldiver against it, showing that it is a little bit larger than our average Helldiver. There is also going to be a possible Sentinel unit. He let us know about the leak of the Sentinel units. These are a little bit different than the current ones that we have, the Harvesters in game. This would be the cultist alternative to the Harvester, much weaker, but it moves faster and has more powerful abilities. At long range, the tripod can fire a death ball, which is a homing projectile, and if you've been having having an annoyance with the Leviathans, I can only imagine how powerful and annoying this would be. In the first image, we can actually see its blast right here. It doesn't look that much different from a harvester, but maybe I'm just not very good at comparing them. In the second one, we can see it still has its shield. It does, I guess, look a little bit smaller and not as tall. In the fourth image, we can see a better comparison against the Helldiver while the beam gets ready to charge up. And in the last one, we can actually see the beam firing, but also just like that other observer that can't aim properly, this thing seems to have the same malfunction. Now, the second one we're going to go over is the Ghoul, and this is a melee unit appearing as a mutated Savage Illuminate who attacks with claws. Early leaks actually had this as a large monster comparable to the Hulk from the automatons, but now it seems that it's actually been changed to infantry size. It's believed it's been brought onto the battlefield by the summoner, which we will go over in a couple minutes. As you can see here, this is actually the Ghoul animations right now, and it does appear that it's crawling out of a portal on the ground, which does seem to back up the fact that it is summoned by, well, the summoner. Now, the next one is going to be the Adept, and this is where magic starts to come in. It's something we haven't actually seen in Helldivers 2 yet, and this is also referred to as the Mage. It's an infantry unit who hovers. It has some of the same nanite mind control abilities of some of the Helldiver 1 Illuminate units, and it's unclear right now if it has any leaked projectiles, but from the image of the Adept that we can see here, it does hold a book, and it is a magic-based thing. It was actually pointed out by Iron Sights that it does a little finger gesture, so it does seem that it has projectiles that shoots out of its fingers at enemies, or, well, you know, us. Now, the next one is going to be the Outcast. It's a hooded infantry unit equipped with a beam gauntlet. It resembles the Helldiver 1 unit called the Hunter more than the one called the Outcast. The Hunter is a sniper unit and the Outcast was a cloaked melee unit, so we don't know exactly how this will function yet, but Iron Sights did this beautiful render right here of it with the beamer weapon, and it seems that it will also have a force field. So the sniper build does seem very realistic. Now, the next one after that is going to be the Summoner, which ties into that Ghoul, which it can, you know, summon. This is a caster unit that seems a step up from the Adept, and it wields a gauntlet lined with crystals that levitate out of it to form a whip, or possibly shoot energy beams. And as stated earlier, it's believed to summon the Ghoul units onto the battlefield. Once again, Iron Sights was actually able to show us this, and in its hands you can clearly see it does have the whip. There are some animations, and it overall seems like a Lord Sauron kind of villain. I actually like this character a lot and really can't wait to fight against these guys. They're a council member, and this is a robed Illuminate sitting on a hover chair. He was the most powerful of the caster type enemies. He's capable of teleportation, mind control, and various area of effect or ranged attacks. It is also called the Illusionist, at least in other game files, and you can see this image that Iron Sights did right here with the animations. It's interesting that they have mind control. I think that this is going to cause a lot of friendly fire situations, but it'll be interesting to see how this mechanic actually works in the game. The other one is going to be the Guy, and this is a heavily armored Illuminate infantry unit, and they have a dual wield where they can wield a staff, or it can go ahead and use an axe. The staff also can be a ranged attack, and is presumably one of the elite infantry units compared to a heavy devastator or brood commander. Here you can actually see it with the Illuminate axe, which is a close range melee weapon, and the Illuminate spear right here, which will shoot the projectiles afterwards. There will also be the Obelisk, and this is a heavily armored robot tank unit from Helldivers 1, and it teleports around while projecting shield walls that block your ability to move around and could insta-kill anyone caught in their path when projecting, which means that this is going to be a very powerful enemy type. We actually haven't had any models or leaks so far yet for Helldivers 2 for this, but we are able to actually look at it in Helldivers 1, and as you can see, it is a pretty round, large unit, and has a number of weapons, resilience, and armor class, which is heavy.
Let me know down below, guys, what are your thoughts on the Illuminate with their upgrades, the satellites, and new mission types coming to the game. Also, don't forget to check out my new channel on the top left corner, where I almost die rock climbing. And until next time, everyone, thanks for stopping by. Keep spreading managed democracy.